How's it going? My shirt has some grapes on it. So I don't know how to start a video like this. It's not me playing a game, and it's not me talking about the channel. So this is uncharted territory. So yes, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, this is Madden 21 concept art. I'm gonna clarify right now. No, this is not leaked. This is not from actual Madden 21. I'm gonna give everyone who thought this was from Madden 21 a chance to leave right now. But this is all actually concept art that I made about Madden 21. So yeah, I made this about what I would love to see in the game when the game comes out in like 2 months. I probably should have done this like when the game came out and started talking about the dislikes, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So I'm gonna just show you guys right away. So boom, there we go. We've got the home screen art that I decided to make. Obviously, there are some changes. Like there's a My Career mode, and I changed franchise to Dynasty. I know that might upset some people because they love the name of franchise, but I don't know. I just think Madden kind of needs a brand new reboot. Yes, My Career did come straight out of NBA 2K, but hey, when you got a game mode that works, maybe not steal from it, but you become inspired by it. And then of course we've got Ultimate Team. Everyone like knows Ultimate Team. It's basically what keeps Madden making their money. And I did leave in Superstar KO because I know a lot of people actually do play and enjoy Superstar KO. So I figured if Madden 21 is gonna come out, they're probably gonna keep game modes that are successful and that people are enjoying. So the first part of this that I want to jump into is Ultimate Team. I want to do My Career and Dynasty later because those are like where the bigger changes are gonna come from. So when we hop into Ultimate Team, the first thing I'm gonna show you guys is the lineup screen. As you guys can see here, I made an entire lineup of brand new concept cards that I made. The reason I decided to make these cards this way is because I really like the old throwback kind of like trading cards from like the early 2000s or the late 90s, and I actually saw someone create cards kind of similar to that. His name is CD Graphics. I'm gonna leave a link in my description to the concepts that he made. There was only 3 of them, and so they were really cool. Basically he made like a throwback version, and I saw the way he designed his cards for my team, and I thought it was really cool, so I wanted to kind of create my own version of that. And I also tried to make like realistic ratings. I feel like these are pretty well justified for like what the players are and how well they did in the season. We still got the exact same positions. We still have chemistry, so not much has changed within the lineup. I mean, we still got training points. We still have points because there's no way EA is going to get rid of buying things from them. So now we get into the second concept. That is the item binder, which basically holds all of your stuff. Again, it's very similar to how it is right now. There's not much changes you can come with this. I think it's just a very simplistic design. That's how it has to like look. You want it to be something that you can easily navigate and find the cards easily, and you can do that right now. So yeah, very simple art right there. Not much changes. Just kind of, I wanted to go a little more in depth into designing this because I was having fun designing it. So now this is where we get into like more interesting parts. So I don't really like the playoff or the season mode that Ultimate Team has. I don't even know what it's called, so that'll show you. But one of the card-based games that I really loved their season for was NBA 2K16. I'm not gonna lie, I took this straight out of NBA 2K16. One of the things I loved about NBA 2K16 was they had like lineup restrictions, so you weren't just playing God Squads in the first couple of tiers, and you actually got like good rewards. You weren't getting like 6,000 coins if you went 7-0 and then won the Super Bowl. So here, as you guys can see, I have like multiple different seeds. You have locked games, and you also have lineup restrictions, and it also shows your reward right away. And it's such a simplistic design, and it's not confusing. Like you don't have to go to different menus to see what your rewards are, how you're doing. It has your record right there. It shows you how many games you're in so far. And I also like how it kind of shows you how you rank up. And then I also added in like a cool little thing. It says LA Wildcats. Now I know that's an XFL team, but what I'm kind of hinting at here, EA, is create a team. Bring it back for at least Ultimate Team. Let us design jerseys. I know you think that people are going to be super childish, and there will be the small percent that does that. But if you look at like 2K, who does this really well, they don't have that many people who are childish. And in fact, they actually really enjoy creating and uploading their own designs. So no, bring that in. I feel like you'll be making a lot of people happy. But that's all I have for the Ultimate Team. Now, the second one I want to get into is My Career. The reason I'm doing My Career first is because Dynasty went a little more in depth with all my designs, and for this one, it's basically just kind of like simple things that I think, well, not simple, but things that I think EA should implement into their career game. Because, I mean, come on. Face of the franchise, y'all had like 4 cutscenes, and then that was the entire, that was it. That was the entire game mode, and then it just becomes franchise. Again, I'm kind of taking from 2K here, and I'm not saying that the NBA 2K games are perfect, but most of the time, all people are complaining about is the gameplay itself. They're not complaining about a lack of modes, they're not complaining a lack of this or a lack of that, which is basically all the EA community we all complain about. And you can't lie, 2K does a pretty damn good job with their career mode. It's very in-depth. You have a lot of cutscenes. A lot of them are very cringe, but they actually put a lot of time and effort into it. And that's for 82 games in a season, not to count the playoffs. Y'all have 17. Well, 18 now. Well, no, 17. It's complicated. You guys understand what I'm saying? And so before I show you the designs, I do want to point out that in my mind, every game mode should kind of feel like it's a different game. So the concept art isn't going to look the exact same for every single game mode, because when you're playing Ultimate Team, it should feel like Ultimate Team. When you're playing My Career, it should feel like My Career. When you're playing, and just so on and so forth. So this is the schedule concept art for My Career that I have set up right here. As the theme of this video, it's simplistic. I mean, you've got your week spread out right here, and it's realistic things. I actually did some research onto like how an NFL player's week rolls out, and usually they have a Monday or a Tuesday off, and then they practice for the rest of the week, and then they do team meetings and stuff like that on the weekends right before their game. So boom, you can see what team you're playing for. You can see the upcoming opponent on Sunday. So it shows you the game that you're playing on Sunday, and then you also have your day off on Monday. You have your Tuesday, which can be an endorsement deal or other things you guys might implement into the game. And then you have practices throughout the week, and then you have your interviews with like media or coaches or anything like that on Saturday right before your game starts. Oh, and look, it has my name and it has how many coins I've made. Why would that be important? Well, it's because you gotta get rid of the XP. The XP is stupid and it makes no sense. One of the things I love about, again, this is just like
how EA can make NFL 2K.
One of the things I like about My Career is you have to earn coins that then buy things. Now again, shirts are like $2,000. You can fix that here, but I like how it's like a currency. Now I don't think it should be a currency that carries into Ultimate Team, how My Career does with their My Team mode, how VC is in both. I think this should be its own currency that you cannot buy and that you just have to earn. That brings players back. It keeps them wanting to get more. And if you're like,
well, why would you need coins?
That brings me to my next concept art. Boom. Okay, so you guys should change how you do your attribute upgrades. It shouldn't be, oh, you click Scrambler and then 10 different ones that I didn't actually want to be upgraded end up getting upgraded. You should be able to have a freedom to how you upgrade your player. You should put in an archetype system, which you guys do already have. But again, when I'm a scrambling quarterback and my max speed is 86 and it doesn't go up it doesn't go up anymore, that's an issue. And so if you look here, it's like I was saying earlier, you have a reason to earn coins. Because, I mean, if we're being honest, face of the franchise, I think I was a 99 quarterback before the Super Bowl even started, because I put it on 12-minute quarters, I played the quarter, and then by the time the season's over and I play the Super Bowl, I'm kind of worn out of franchise, or face of the franchise mode, because I'm a 99 overall quarterback. I know my team is either going to go like undefeated and the game's just going to be super boring, or like that's basically how face of the franchise goes. There's no or. But here, you're probably going to play out your season and you're not going to be a 99 overall player. You can choose what attributes you upgrade. You don't have to settle for what the game gives you. You have your own freedom and your own choice. And also, when you're a rookie in the NFL, how many rookies are an 80 overall? It's very rare. So when you're starting face of the franchise, I know you're a first overall pick, you can choose that stuff. You're not going to be an 80 overall player. You're probably not going to be a 78. You're probably going to start in like the low or mid 70s. The reason face of the franchise and franchise like the player mode gets so boring so fast is because you basically beat the game mode super easily. I know that you can like earn your points to get into the Hall of Fame or whatever, but that system is completely broken, and Tom Brady's at like 32,000, and meanwhile I've won like 5 Super Bowls and I'm at like 1,600. People realize how unrealistic it is. They're not gonna keep playing. But if you have stuff like this where you can keep upgrading your player and you keep a longevity to it, then you can keep playing. I think that's one of the reasons My Career in NBA 2K is very, very successful. They have that longevity point to it, and there's an unexpected factor. They're not gonna get the same 4 texts from the same 4 positions about challenging you because of your X factor. And speaking of X factor, that takes us into our next concept art. So I believe that you should be able to choose which X factor your player is whenever you start your career, but that doesn't mean that you have that X factor. I think you should be able to earn your X factors through overalls, which you kind of can do right now, but it's so easy and you level up so fast that you really don't get to appreciate how useful the X factors are for your career player until, well, actually, no, not even until, you never can appreciate it because you're just a god player by the end of the season. So as you guys can see here, I did create a Superstar X Factor abilities page for the player, and you already have your pre-chosen one. I made one up called Locksmith, and then you have the abilities, but you have to unlock them. And as you guys can see, you can't choose like a different set of abilities. The reason I did this is because I don't think there should be such freedom whenever you're creating your player and you just make them like an unbelievable, amazing player. Again, it takes fun out of the game. There should be a little bit of challenge to it. So I think each X factor should have its own abilities. That way you're like, ooh, do I want to choose this one because it has this ability? Or do I want to choose this one because that X factor is so good? It should make players want to choose. It shouldn't just be like Dashing Deadeye, Escape Artist, Human Joystick, and Hot Route Master. Boom, there we go. Best quarterback in the game. That's not how it should work. Each X Factor ability should have its own positives, which make players want to gravitate towards that ability. Other things before we hop out of my career, I did add into my equipment, a my closet, an animations page. I know there kind of is an animations page, but it's basically just like, how do you want your quarterback to throw? There should be more animations than that. And then for my closet and my equipment, if there's going to be cutscenes, which I think you guys should really implement, it'll make the game so much more fun. You should be able to choose what your character wears. Again, very similar to 2K. And then my equipment, you should be able to buy or even like customize your own equipment. I know you can put like back plates and visors, but you know what? If you want players to use this, maybe make it cost not a lot of money, but like 200 coins or something, so that you're not just decking your player out right away and then he looks awesome and then he just walks in. Again, like 2K, you don't just have the arm sleeves. You have to earn money to buy those. And again, I know that there's pricing issues, but you can learn from their mistakes. I don't know. I really, really like this. I also added an endorsements page. I think this would be kind of fun. It gives players something to like work towards, level 1, level 2, level 3. My career kind of dips their toe into this and they kind of just give you the most basic cutscenes. But again, they're kind of fun to look forward to because you get that cutscene and then you level up through the companies. You get rewards, you get incentives. I think that'd really help out this game mode. But now let's hop into Dynasty Mode. Okay, now in Dynasty Mode, there should be 4 different ways you should be able to play as. I think you could be a commissioner, you could be an owner, you could be a GM, or you could be a coach. And the reason I do this is I think it'd be cool if you can start off as a coach and then become a commissioner, or you can start off as a GM and become an owner. You can work your way up. For franchise, just take out the player option. If you're going to put in your own career mode, there's no reason you should be doing the franchise because, there's no point. People are either going to play that or they're going to play franchise. It's face of the franchise or franchise. It doesn't make any sense. So just take out the player mode completely. Commissioner would be really, really fun because if they add in customization like I was talking about in Ultimate Team where you can design teams, you can move teams, I think Commissioner would be really fun. You could design your rules, you can move teams where, you could simulate, you could obviously take a hold of one of the teams if you wanted to and rebuild that one, but you're basically just controlling the entire league, teams that move, teams that change their jerseys, stuff like that. Very simple, but a fun way to just kind of explore simulations or do, kind of like King of the Fourth Quarter does, where you just simulate like 80 years in the future. You can do stuff like that. This is just more for your creative side. For owner, you would kind of have the same creative abilities that Commissioner has, but it's only for that certain team. You're not allowed to look at other teams. You can't control other teams. You basically just control your own team. You can hire GMs, fire GMs, very similar to Commissioner, but basically you're just owning the team. So that one's not too in-depth, but I still think it'd be fun because then as an owner, if you're getting a reputation, maybe you can become a commissioner. Maybe you reach a certain level where you can become the commissioner of a league and then you have total creatively. Again, you need to find reasons for players to keep playing these game modes and not just do one season and then, okay, that was boring, and then hop out. GM would be a lot of fun. If you look at, again, here we go with 2K. If you look at my GM or like the My League in 2K, you basically are controlling one team. You have creative control over that team as well. You have to deal with player morale, player emotions, how players are feeling about certain things. There are consequences and rewards for all of your actions. I think that would be really, really cool. And then eventually, it's very similar to my GM again, but it's very similar to 2K's My GM, where if you want, you could earn enough coins or level up enough where you could own the team that you're GMing. Now, coach is just very similar to what coach is right now. You coach a team, you get to give the GM input on stuff like drafts or free agents, because coaches have a really, really big impact and a big say and stuff like that. But since you're the coach, you don't get to change the jerseys, you do not get to relocate the team, stuff like that. You basically are just kind of, it's GM, but kind of shrunk down a little bit. But again, one of the incentives to playing coach is that you can then become the GM. So if you want, you could unlock that. It's giving you a reason to play. And then I also added in 2 concept arts for things that I think Dynasty should have. When you're playing franchise right now, basically, you rebuild the team, or you try to build it as well as you can. You play to the Super Bowl. You usually end up winning the Super Bowl because that's what everyone does in the first season because it's not hard to do. And then you play the off season. The off season is very uneventful, and then you just start the season over again. It's very boring. And one thing that I know a lot of Madden players have been asking for is like off-season to-do lists. So if you look here, you can see we have things like the draft combine, staff signing, team options, franchise players. You just have a list of things you need to do. It's not boring, and it's all set out for you so you can see in an exact list what you have to do. And one of the biggest things that I think we need to implement that you guys can see here is training camps. You don't really get a chance to upgrade certain players. They just earn XP throughout the games. But again, if you look at 2K, you can send certain players to certain camps that'll help them grow in certain ways. Like if you want a player to become already better than they could be, then you send them to untapped potential. If you think a player needs a better 3-point shot, you send them to the perimeter shooting or whatever. So I think that would be really, really important here, especially for players that are like rookies or players that are just kind of trying to get over that hump that you think could really help out your team. And the other thing that a lot of people have been asking for is more in-depth for coaching. When you're a GM, there is more than just a head coach and a scout on your team. You have a head coach, you have your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, you have your head scout, you have your junior scout, you have all these different staff positions that you have to deal with. And I'm not saying implement them, but I'm just saying implement the ones that are important. So as you guys can see, we have a head coach, we have an offensive coordinator, we have a defensive coordinator, we have our scout, and we have our special teams coordinator. And it shows how loyal they are to the team, how they help out your team. This helps you if you want a certain coach, but you're like, this coach probably won't affect my team, because coaches really don't affect your team in franchise mode. If you sign a certain coach and you pay a little extra for that, you're getting team boosts from that coach. Or for scouts, the more expensive they are, it's the better accuracy they are. It's not a B plus accuracy. It's not a B. You get an exact percentage, 73% accuracy. All right, you have a 73% chance of this scout being correct about how they saw a certain player for the draft. And if they have a high loyalty to your team, maybe the next time their contract is up, they'll sign for a little bit less compared to how they would be expected to sign for. And then there's the opposite. If they're not very loyal, maybe they'll ask for more and they'll just walk super easily. You should also be able to view other coaches that you could possibly sign. So here I added in a bunch of just random coaches, people who will probably be head coaches within the next year or two. If you know that your coach is probably going to leave because they're not loyal or they haven't been successful on your team and you don't want them back, you should see which coaches are available or which coaches you can talk to about possibly taking over that position that coach was. You should also be able to reconstruct contracts. This also goes for players, but more so for coaches, because this happens all the time in the NFL, whether it be players or coaches. And it's not just, okay, I'm going to offer you this and they're automatically going to take it. You can see that there's an interest meter here that the coach is. The higher the interest, obviously, the more likely they're going to sign for it. The lower the interest, they might even just get frustrated, and one of those loyalty bubbles might drop, and you might lose that coach because they think that they're just so insulted by what you're offering them. It adds some stakes to the game. So those are all the concepts that I made for Madden 21. I will say I am very hopeful and optimistic for Madden 21. The reason I am hopeful and optimistic for it is because 2K just got the rights to make their own NFL game too. I don't know if you guys heard about that. And so what I think that does, that puts pressure on EA to make a very good Madden game, so that way they're kind of pushing aside the competition. If you look at NBA games, EA has NBA Live, and they are basically a laughingstock compared to 2K because people see that EA doesn't put in the attention to detail that 2K does in comparison. And I don't think EA wants to fall into that competition again. And if you look at 2K, give them crap for all they do, but one of the greatest considered NFL games ever is NFL 2K5. And that is just like a stepping stone for 2K. That was 15 years ago, and it's so much more in depth now. And so honestly, I think that EA is going to take this very seriously this year, and they're really going to try and please all their players and all their loyal fans to the game, because they know that if they blow it here, people are probably just going to migrate over to 2K. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm really hoping that NFL 2K is a really, really good game, because honestly, I don't have too much fun on EA on anything outside of Ultimate Team. And Ultimate Team itself is just a cash grab. So if there are other game modes that you're willing to play, like 2K has, and like 2K would likely implement into an NFL game, you're probably going to leave Madden and go to a 2K game. And because of that, I really do think that EA is going to put in a lot of attention to detail for this game and possibly next year's game, just to try and push away 2K and show that they're the king of all football games. And it's not like EA has always made boring games. I mean, Madden 09 is one of my favorite games. Madden 12 is one of my favorite games because there was the creative modes and you could create and edit teams, you could create your players. It wasn't as in-depth as it could be, now, because it's 10, 11, 12 years old, but it was just so much fun because there was so much more creativity to it. EA basically sees how much money they're making in Ultimate Team, and they see, okay, well, if we're going to make this much money, we don't need to put that much effort into it. But I think that changes this year with NFL 2K finally getting rights to an NFL game. I hope you guys liked this video. I had a lot of fun creating all these concept arts for it, and it was really fun to kind of also watch so many videos and read so many forums about things that people want into a Madden game, because I didn't even know that I wanted them, and I completely agreed. I'm really curious what you guys have to think, whether it's my concept art, which I'm gonna point out, I'm not very good with design. The furthest I go into designing are my thumbnails, so I'm sorry if these looked bad. But I am curious what you guys thought, whether it was about the designs that I made, the game modes that I implemented, or just certain things that I was talking about that either interest you or you didn't like. Even if you didn't like it, please let me know. I'm really curious what you guys have to think. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys want me to do more of this, let me know. Like I said, I had a lot of fun working on this, and it was just kind of fun to sit down and just design some stuff. But other than that, I'm just gonna leave this video here. I'm Junior on top. I'll see you guys next episode. See you guys later.